I think while folks are doing that, we can move to the next slide. And my next question is, so many workflow engines have been created in the past 10 years. So that's in-app engines, that's third-party tools to do this exact thing. If it's so important, if it's so crucial, like you said, why is it not easier to do?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely difficult because while you're creating a platform which is extensible, you need to think a lot about how generic it would be. You need to think about your workflow engine, which has all the logic capabilities and the primitives, like if you are able to easily create a simple if else condition, or easily create a switch condition, and have it visually show it on a canvas. It's really a lot of work, and it took us quite frankly a lot of time, and probably more than a year to get to that stage. So I can kind of imagine that some support tool who are just focusing on system of record, they may see it as something just an add-on. But I was talking about the irony there. If a support tool needs to get your customer service faster, they need to have these capabilities. And it's really hard to think generically and think about the primitives that you need in your workflow builder, so that even the non-tech people and the technical people all like it the same way. So now, this was, one of the things that we till now talked about. Hey, why you need a workflow engine and why other people haven't been able to do it. And quite frankly, the why piece, we have talked a lot about, right? And probably everyone knows about it. So let's now cut the clutter and imagine, let's go through a journey of a workflow use case, right? Uh, and what is that journey, look like, right? So imagine I'm a support ops leader. I want to implement a particular workflow. What do I think, uh, even before automating something? What do I think on a whiteboard, right? So let's imagine I want to have a simple ticket routing mechanism. And at the end of it, I also want to capture, some sentiment, right? So this seems very simple, right? I just, these are the just few things that I need to do. But when you go deeper, right, you start to imagine a few things, right? So you need to be able to have stable integrations across channels, right? Like Slack, email, and whatever, other channels you have for raising tickets. And those things should be stable and reliable, right? And most of the time, when you're working on that 10% workflow engine, which is right now there in your support tool, you probably need maybe a few days or some dev help to make these integrations really stable. And let's say I talked about for a specific use case before routing also, I need to filter out spam, right? So if you don't have native AI capabilities built in your tool that you're using, then you will end up using brittle if else, keyword matching, regex matching, right? For checking whether a particular email is spam or not, right? And we all know what happens there, right? One sentence case missing there, synonyms of different things, and you keep adding more and more and more conditions. And at some point, you're not able to make sense of what your workflow looks like. And then let's say after that, when I have filtered out some of the spam things, I need to know, this ticket belongs to which particular group of people who are the subject matter experts who can solve this ticket, very easily. Then again, the same, headache comes, right? you at the if you don't have a good smart intelligence in your system, which can route the ticket, you will end up again on keyword based matching, right? And then again, if you have lot of if else node, and I have actually seen in some of the some customers using legacy tool having more than 100 very specific keyword based matching thing to just route it to a particular group, and almost every other day it had started breaking. And then
I was just going to ask, how much time do you think the customer wasted? Do you think it really was that much time that they had to spend building those specific workflows, dealing with the breaking? How much time would you say, or how much time do you think they would have saved if they used something like what we'll show later in the webinar?
Yeah. So, I mean, there is one thing where probably spend at least a few weeks finding out the correct, algorithm for routing to the, correct group. So those things while building, I'm talking about weeks. But where actually, chaos starts to get happen is that when you have such a large workflow, the maintenance piece of it really gets very troublesome, right? If so that needs a lot more time and effort, and those are really the wasted effort that you need, that you end up spending there. And I have seen people spending at least if you see a week, at least totally 4 or 5 hours just on fixing these things. So
okay. I just have a question here, but the companies that we've talked about, Workato, Zapier, et cetera, they've been around for more than 10 years. What is the problem with just using one of those? I think that's what most people do. Why is it better to use a native workflow engine? Why should I even bother doing that?
yeah, I mean, this is a natural journey, right? You start with your support tool, and as you saw in the few earlier slides, that workflow started to getting read. And then when that happens, you go out in the market and ask for more help. And this is where these third-party tools, and even in some cases third-party services, come up, and they give you the vision that, hey, I will fix things for you. But that comes with a few second order effects. I have seen customers spending 30 to 40% of their subscription cost spent on these, what I like to call middleware tools. And these tools are just kind of helping you make your own system of record usable, right? And then that is one of the biggest factor. And then other one also is that more multiple tools you have more point of failures. So for example, you need to know whether your workflow is working or not. And if you have multiple points of failures, then it turns out to be one day your workflow is not working, and SLA has been breached, and there is some churn in the customer. So that was one. And the third one is also around just the sheer inertia to learn and implement these yet another tool, right? Imagine you are in a big company, all the security and audit logs that you have to do to just to approve another tool. And then if I want to just create a workflow for my own productivity, I need to ask for another seat. That comes at more cost. And some of these tools also have like really weird pricing mechanism that I don't like, right? Some of them price you on the basis of consumption. Some of them just price you on number of workflows created. So that's just not fair. So yeah, I mean, cost, time, and learning, inertia to learn is something that it really not to good if you want to give a good support experience. Cool. So then the question is, if you have a really good support, if you want to deliver good support, then for sure a 10% workflow engine just bolted on top of your tool is not working. And then you have also gone to the market and trying to use these different tools, but they also come with their own set of problems. Then at the end of it, what do you actually need? And then what I think is we need this, right? Something, an automation engine that for sure should adapt to your needs. And these things and this native automation engine should have these three key pillars. First is really one-click data transformation. What do I actually mean by that, right? We do have if you're using these third-party tools, you end up creating a lot of data transformation, and taking care of the data transformation and connections. So what we do at DevRev is that we do all the heavy lifting of transforming your data from different sources, right? We do all the ETL gymnastics for you, so that all your data from different sources are there inside the app within minutes, in just one click, so that your data is in one schema, so that you eliminate all the point of failures, and it's just ready for you to create workflows and agentic workflows on top of it, and make your data actionable, right?
Yeah, I
I
have a
mean,
question here.
yeah.
Just without one-click data transformation, how would I go about getting my data in shape for use in the workflow engine? And let's say, for example, I'm using something like Zendesk or Freshdesk. What is so convincing about this for me? How does this really improve?
Yeah. So, if you're using Zendesk or Freshdesk, right? First of all, you will end up feeling constrained there, because you can't very easily create more and more data connectors there. And even if you do, because of the less exhaustive nature of their workflow engine, which may mean less observability, and just less brittle nature of them. And then you start using what I was telling about, the third-party tools. With that combination, you can't really go beyond basic if-then automation, right? Tools like Zapier and in conjunction with Freshdesk are really powerful in their own right, but they don't have the same knowledge and understanding of your own organization's data, employees' data, and to able to and then for sure you will not be able to drive automation at anything more than a surface level, right? So that's really the thing there. And yeah, can we go to the last slide? Yeah. And then I also wanted to touch upon about how important reliability is, right? So if your automation stops working, you should have instant visibility into affected workflows, right? And maybe the system should also, tell you proactively that, hey, this is not working, and you may want to look into it, right? So this is where it becomes critical, right? I have seen people saying that, hey, this automation and some of the automation engines are really a black box. And imagine I have created a routing workflow which takes care, and if takes care of routing tickets to the right people, and if that breaks, my SLAs are broken, and then my customers are not happy. So building easily is one part, but maintaining day to day is also a really something that I think is very crucial. And then for sure, the workflow engine should be extensible enough so that you don't end up using any middleware tools. So yeah, maybe we can now probably, if you want, maybe we can now go to some demos.
Yeah, let's see it.
Yeah, just a minute.
Take these questions.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. Why don't you leave with that?
Yeah. So how does DevRev help make product development more customer centric? So yeah, I mean, this is one of the core thesis, right? And I will also come to your question around what is an example of a support workflow. But yeah, one of the core thesis of DevRev is like, we have a unified system record, and then, all your support engineers, the support managers, and also, they are there at one place, and they have access to all the, engineering related information and product related information. So we may, try very hard to give through our product workflows and automation to equip our support agents with more and more context from every other department. So whenever they want, and they are resolving, let's say, a particular, ticket query, they have all the information at one place. There's no type switching, right? If they want to know what's one issue, engineering issue that is blocking this customer, they have right there. They also have, some AI capabilities which will summarize and fetch all this information and give you at once, right? So this really saves time and make support more context aware. And one of the example of a support workflow is that I will exactly show that right now. Like, let's say ticket ticket will be created, let's say, and then one of the basic user workflow is that, hey, now how do I know whether it is a spam or not? Can I do it in an automated fashion? And then how do I route it to the correct subject matter experts, right? So someone is very good at feature one, and if a ticket is related to feature one, how I automatically and without spending too much time, I route it to the correct people. So that is one example, and let's see how we can achieve it. Yeah, so is my screen visible? Yeah. So this is our instance of DevRev, and this is all on production, and we are using it. We are I mean, now I guess more than 300 people company, and we just use DevRev for our own support and product development. So let's start one of the workflows that I was talking about. So let's call it something, let's say a smart ticket router, right? And let's say I started with, we want to start our journey with, when a ticket gets created from the very start. So, let's add that there. And then I want to, efficiently check whether it is let's say a spam ticket or not, right? So I will.
And are these all these choosing from, are they in there by default? I already have
Yeah.
access to the spam checker and
Yes. These are, by default AI native nodes that you have. So, in normal words, you would do a lot of regex matching and all those stuff. So that's there. And by the way, this ticket created can be from any source. So, think about it this way. I didn't, created an actual connection because we have done from any other source. We have done all the, ETL heavy lifting to bring all the objects here. And we have two-way syncs with other systems too. So I just have to select when a ticket is created. I don't care about the source where it is. I can for sure have more conditions on top of it to filter based on source. And then I am now, checking whether it is spam or not. So let's put a condition now. Let's say if the output of the spam equals, is actually a spam, then, I want to update my, let's say, ticket to, let's say I want to update my ticket to, mark it as spam, right? So let's do that, right? So this was one part, and this I touched upon it initially in the presentation, that this is where a lot of chaos happens. You don't know what to tag something as spam or not, and now it is just one click natively you have that capability. Now let's do something more fun, right? Now I wanted to route to the correct subject matter expert, right? So which part of the product, of your product hierarchy this ticket may belong to, right? So I will again put a very native AI node, which at the back end also uses, search through our knowledge graph, and and then if you give it, let's say, a ticket ID, then it gets, outputs you the most relevant part, right? So what happens is that in most of the integration, all your tickets are queued into one place, and then you want to, triage it to the correct, part of your product and correct group of people. Usually that happens in, you end up creating a lot of regex matching there. So you just have one node there, and let's now update the part with the suggested ID, right? So let's just deploy it, right? So let's see if everything is fine. Ticket was created. I was checking whether it is spam or not. If it is actually spam, let's update the ticket to spam. And I am suggesting the part, and I'm, and then updating the part with whatever was suggested from our search and AI nodes. So yeah, and probably I can now, see if, it works or not. So let's also do that all live. So what I will try to do is that we have a very good email integration, and it creates a ticket, right? And then, as you know, customers, don't, they don't have forms there in the emails. It's all natural language. So I will send a very, one of the, a very legible sample ticket, and let's see if it is routed to the correct part of the product. So let me see that. Just sending. Yep. I've sent the email. Let's see if the email has been now here. Yep. This was the email that I had sent. Let's see. Yep. So I was creating workflow number 31. We have, you can see a lot of other automations we are also running on our prod instance. And you saw this workflow number 31 actually updating, and routing it to the correct people who are right now using, improving our CSAT functionality. And you can see that this ticket is for around CSAT. So yeah, that was one of the things. And you could do a lot more, right? So this is while I was talking about, your workflow engine needs to be very extensible, right? A lot of time you will see that, hey, some constrictions that you can't have multiple, let's say, triggers in the same workflow. So we have a very fig jam kind of experience. If you want to, add another trigger, feel free to do that. And you can just like this, and this is, you can add more triggers, and these things, something, really cool, and it's very handy when you're creating, complex workflows. For example, earlier we were seeing some, customer testimonial. One of our customers implemented a dozen of their workflows in Zendesk in just one visual graph here. So what it led to, much lesser time, spending on maintenance, and at the same time, much faster, right? Within a few minutes, when you get this visual canvas, you are able to do a lot more. And then one of the other things is also the kind of these actions, right? These action steps. You can, let's say, if you don't have, if you're not liking one of them, or you have a different use case, you can very, very easily add another node. So that way we are really, extensible, and it's really easy to just add another node. If you want to connect your own system, your own backend APIs, it's really easy. For example, we just, today added a node to send a Slack message. So what it does, it's, listens to any ticket which is updated. If it is closed, evaluate the sentiment. This is again one of the native AI, workflow steps that we give. And then, and then someone is notified on Slack, telling them what the customer felt after the ticket was updated. So yeah, that was one of the demos. Are there any more questions right now?
My last question for you is everyone is so busy. Probably we feel like we're busier today than we were yesterday, and we'll only be busier tomorrow. Why should they make time to try us out? Why should they check out the workflow engine?
Yeah. I mean, I understand, right? Thinking about a different tool is really a daunting task. But if, if you can just try it out in just a few minutes, and if the, tool gives you that ability, then probably, it is much easier. So, I mean, setting things up on DevRev, whether you want to migrate all the data, or, this kind of workflow that, that you just want to try it out, it's probably, just a few minutes job for you to just get the taste of all the goodness. So we have seen people, within 2 hours implementing all the workflows that they had in their legacy tools here. So yeah, it's a matter of easiness, and also quick. Then
Awesome. Okay, I believe that's all we had for today. And I believe we've answered both of the questions in the Q&A. We can hang on if there are more questions, but otherwise, I'll just say thank you so much to everyone that joined us. And if you registered, we'll send you the recording of this webinar, and we'll also be in touch if you're interested in meeting with us, learning more about the workflow engine, learning more about the customer support app, anything, all of the above. We're happy to answer those questions for you. It looks like we have one more question. Yeah, so Max asks, for someone who has not used Workato, Zapier, or any third-party middleware to build automation workflows, how would it be different compared to on a native workflow engine like DevRev?
Yeah, so in one of the differences that you would, actually see and feel is that, if you're using some middleware tools like that, you end up spending a lot of time on data transformation, right? Because they don't have the underlying understanding of the data on which they are automating stuff. You end up writing those fetch nodes and mapping the fields. So that is where the difference you will feel. And apart from that, you will also get all the goodness of the thing that you are already familiar with on Zapier, right? Drag and drop things and the extensibility.
Yeah, I
But
think
what
my understanding, if you're doing something simple, Zapier, Workato, they're great. The second you add some complexity or you have working at a bigger company, that's when you might need to add a third-party vendor or something to help you build those workflows with Zapier and your support CRM. Okay, I think we can hang on a couple more minutes if there are any other questions. Otherwise, like I said, thank you so much. And we will share the recording of this afterward, and we'll be in touch if you're interested in learning more about DevRev.